Today I'm going to be showing you how to upgrade the hard drive in the PS3. No, this does not void the warranty. Okay, now, first thing you need to do is back up your saved games, your music, your data, anything on here if you care about it. Now, I used a pocket hard drive like this. I got a little 40 gigger here, backed it up, and it worked fine. I'm not going to show you how to do that because it is long, arbitrary, and technical. That could be for another video. The thing you have to do, though, your hard drive has to be FAT32 format. Now, any drive over 32 gigs in Windows will not format FAT32 for some reason. XP wants to do it in NTFS. Now, Swiss Knife, that's a free program. That's Swiss and K-N-I-F-E, all one word. It allows you to format drives over the FAT32 standard of 32 gigabytes. So basically, I got a 40 gig FAT32 drive here, and it backed up all the data nicely. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to need is basically two screwdrivers. You're going to need a Phillips and a flathead. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the hard drive panel is right here on the side. And on the left hand side over here, you simply take your little flathead screwdriver and carefully pry it in about the middle, and the cover just flies off. Now, as you can see, the hard drive itself is secured by a blue Phillips screw. So you basically take your screwdriver and you put it in there. And you turn it out, of course, just like any other screw. Be sure to save the screw, of course. Take it out. Now, there's a little lip here. What you do with this lip is you simply just take your fingers and it pulls right out. Or you can sling it down. And what does this act as? A handle to pull out the hard drive. That's the hard drive. All right, so we can go ahead and set the PS3 aside for now. Be sure not to get any dust in that hard drive hole. So simply, you got to take the screws out from the hard drive. And by the way, the hard drive has to be what's called a SATA. It has to be a notebook hard drive, basically, or a 2.5-inch hard drive, as it's called. And I wouldn't go over 7,200 RPM. It doesn't make the OS load any faster, so stick with the much safer 54. The OS loads 2 seconds faster if you put a 7,200 in, and you could burn up the power supply because the PS3 power supply might not be rated for that. And you don't get any benefit. And guess what? 5400s are a lot cheaper. Now, I'm swapping out my 40 gig for a 250 gig hard drive. The one that came in my particular PS3 was a Seagate 40 gig, and I'm going to be replacing it with a Seagate 250 gig. So simply take out the 4 screws on each side, one on each side, of course, and the hard drive just lifts up. You can now just do whatever you want to with that. So, got my new hard drive right here. And of course, it goes back in, same way the other one came back out. So you take it out of the packaging. You can see it comes in a little, yeah, there we go. And it looks a lot like the other one I just took out, just a lot bigger. So you just simply put it back in the tray, like so, and you take your screws, and you start screwing them in. Alright, so the new hard drive is in the caddy now. I'm going to discard the other one, bring our PS3 back up to the show table here. Alright, so simply take the hard drive, pull the PS3 back a little bit, put it in there, and it just kind of locks in place. Don't push it too hard, but you'll feel it when it goes in. It's a distinctive, kind of like plugging in an old 16-bit cartridge or an 8-bit cartridge. You know when it's making contact. Now put your Phillips screw back in. Be careful not to strip it out in case you have to do this in the future. Then you take your plastic cover and it goes back on just like that. Now let's look and see what we have to do to get the hard drive recognized by the PlayStation 3. Alright, so I've reconnected my PlayStation 3 to the TV. Sorry about the rough videography here, but I didn't want to run it through an adapter in case I had to do anything. First thing you want to do is to connect your controller via USB, like I've done here. Next, you have to look on page 19 of the Safety and Support PlayStation 3 book that came with it. You have to download basically the latest system software. If you don't have the book, I'll give you a link to it right now up on the screen, because it will give you the website will give you all the instructions, the book will. So you're going to have to burn a DVD or get you like a flash drive or something, copy this data over. Now, the data has to be in what's called a folder called PS3, and inside of that PS3 folder has to be a folder called Update. I chose to use DVD-R. You can use DVD-R, you can use a memory stick duo, you can use a USB mass storage device, such as a little key thing, Blu-ray, whatever you want to use. So basically, just go ahead, turn on the PS3, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put the disc in. So I will go ahead and put the disc in right now. So it's going to take it a moment to show up on the screen because it's trying all of its inputs because it has no idea what to do. So I've connected, it says connect the controller using USB cable and then press the PS button. So I push the PS button. System software cannot be run correctly. Press the PS button to restart the system. Well, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is push start and select. And what it's going to do, it's going to check that disk I put in, and it's going to find that update on there. And it's going to start installing that update, or the new OS, as I should say. So after I get the new OS installed, the next step becomes getting my old data back. And that, of course, will involve reconnecting my hard drive back up and having it transferring the data back to the PS3. Okay, now, after it does the formatting, it installs the OS and reboots, no big deal. It looks like any other update. Now you have to go through and redo the initial setup. So I'm just telling it what time zone I'm in. That's good. Okay, now you also got to set the date and time. So the date I'm doing this is, of course, August. And I think it is I know anyways. Let's see here. We'll go to the 28th of 2008. And the time is right around 9 o'clock in the PM. So I'll just set it like that for right now. I can get it later. Okay. So go ahead, enter your username to log on to this system. So I like to use my usual. Alright, and then basically hit enter and it's going to finish the initial setup. So what do we get? We're next is going to connect to the internet. Checking network configuration, of course. I'm sure you all know how to do this. Alright, in this case I have a wired connection. I also have wireless, but I like using my wired. So it boots up just like any other old, there you go, like any other old screen. And it's going to log me onto friends and everything else, or attempt to, of course. There's no friends on there. Oh well. You gotta sign up for PlayStation Network, all that fun stuff. I actually don't have to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that DVD that I burned, because we're not going to need it anymore. I'm going to need it unless I did this again. Do this again. What we're going to do is we're going to connect our USB hard drive up to the front of the PS3 here. Okay. It's going to take it a couple seconds to find it, and it certainly did right here in the list. So now I just go over to Settings, go down to System Settings, and I go down to Backup Utility. That's right. And I want to say Restore. You want to restore data that's been backed up before restoring all data, yada yada yada. Tell it where it is. Of course, in this case, it picks up my USB hard drive. I hit the button. It says, please wait. It's checking it. Select the backup data, 2008, 08, 28, 1749. That's the time that I did it, 1740 time in military. Hit enter. Are you sure you want to restore? The system will restart during the restore operation. Do not turn off the system. Hit yes. What it's going to do, it's going to format, do not turn off the system. So, let it run through its course now. Alright, so it's going to do what it's doing here. It's going to take a couple seconds. And it's going to reboot the PS3, of course. Alright, now it says press the PS button on the controller. So I pushed it. Now it says restoring. Do not turn off the system or remove the storage media. And it says remaining time and it says counting. So basically what it's doing, if I look at the hard drive light and the light on my little USB drive, it's accessing it like crazy. It says approximately 35 minutes. It says it's going to take over an hour to back it up. It didn't take quite that long, so it's probably not going to take this long to restore it.